Light is a cheerful teenager who has always dreamed of becoming a successful adventurer to give his family a life of luxury. To achieve this, he leaves his village and goes to the city to register as an adventurer. But things aren't easy for him. In this world, the goddess created 9 races, and humans are seen as the most inferior. Because of this, they're always suffering from racism, and Light feels this as soon as he steps into the city. A beastman adventurer rudely tells him to get off the road, and the protagonist can only apologize, even though he wasn't in the way. Anyway, upon arriving at the guild, he registers and the receptionist says that newbies like him start at rank F. She asks if he has any gift that could help with the evaluation, and Light affirms enthusiastically. He says his gift is called Unlimited Gacha, and that he can basically pull things from it, but since explaining isn't enough, Light decides to demonstrate and summons his gacha device, activating it right away. The gacha draws a fork card, and when the protagonist releases it, a fork materializes on the table. However, the fork is all bent and Light panics. He tells the receptionist that things usually come out better and uses the ability a few times, but the result is similar. He pulls out a rotten apple and moldy bread, which convinces the receptionist that this loser doesn't deserve more than rank F. Light accepts the disappointment and asks if there's any work he can take right away. The receptionist points to the board where the easy jobs are, but Light gets nervous just looking at it. The receptionist realizes that besides being a loser, Light is illiterate. But this part isn't surprising, since humans have low literacy rates. She says he can do basic tasks like carrying stones and collecting wood, but that pays much less than other jobs. Light accepts, and after a day of hard work, he gets enough money to rent a room. He still needs to rely on his gacha for food, but he's confident he'll manage. However, a gang of beast men has another plan for him, and they stand in his way on purpose so Light bumps into them. The leader starts yelling at Light for bumping into him and dirtying his clothes. Before they take his bag, Light panics, begging them to return the money because he wouldn't have anywhere to stay, but the werewolf simply punches him, saying he needs to pay for the laundry. The beast men leave him on the ground in a puddle of mud, and everyone who passes by tells him to sleep in the dirty slums with the rest of the humans. Light feels completely hopeless, but suddenly, someone extends a hand to help him. Instinctively, he takes the hand of the beautiful elf in front of him, but a second later realizes that his own hand was covered in mud. Light backs away, apologizing to the elf for dirtying her hand, but she says it's okay. She assures him she won't hurt him, but years of racism and discrimination don't let him believe it. To prove it, the elf kneels down and hugs him, and Light is speechless. Even with people on the street mocking the elf for lowering herself so much for a human, she helps Light get up. Behind the elf is a group with people of different races, who introduce themselves as the Concord of Tribes group. They explain that they're a group formed by one member of each species created by the goddess, and they were missing a human. The beastman Garu introduces himself first, followed by the elf Sasha, who tells Light about the rest of the members. There's Drago, the Dragonborn, the Demon Diablo, the Oni Abaro, the Dark Elf, the Dwarf Nano, and the Centaur Santer. Garu says they were just looking for a human to complete the group, and then Shaun adds that they created the group to end racism and create a world where everyone is treated equally. Light thinks it's too good to be true, but he can't miss the chance with this wonderful group, and happily agrees to join the Concord of Tribes. Soon they start adventuring, and Light is the weakest link on the team. He needs to be rescued from monsters by Drago and Sasha, who tell him to be more careful because one hit from the monsters would kill him. Light apologizes for the lack of attention, but Sasha starts examining him for injuries, telling him to always stay behind them. The rest of the group starts teasing Sasha because she's kind of obsessed with Light and cares a lot about him, and she turns red while explaining that she only sees him as a group member. Light feels useless because he can't do anything besides carrying the luggage, but Drago says he makes delicious tea, and that's good enough for him. Light is very happy to hear this and cheerfully follows the team deeper into the dungeon. Soon they reach an open space with only one entrance and exit, and the group members look at each other before deciding this is the perfect place for their plan. Not knowing what the plan is, Light starts preparing tea for everyone when Drago approaches and says he's being fired from the group. Light can't even process the statement and asks what he did to be expelled, and the beastman Garu says he's being fired because he doesn't do anything. Everyone tells Light how useless and stupid he is, and even Sasha acts disgusted by him. The rest of the group starts insulting Light and the the human race. Light thinks it must be some kind of prank, but they say no one has free time to play with useless trash like him. He asks why they were being so nice to him until now, and they respond that it was just acting. Drago says his superiors noticed his unlimited gacha gift and thought he could be a maestro. That's why they ordered the Concord of Tribes to watch him closely, but once they determined that Light's gift was useless and he couldn't be a maestro, they gave the signal to get rid of him. Sasha is the most relieved not to have to put up with Light anymore, because if he were really the maestro, she would have to marry him, and just thinking about it gives her chills. Light can't even understand what the word maestro means, but then Drago says they've told him more than enough and need to finish him off before more adventurers arrive. Garu immediately imitates Wolverine and pulls out his metal claws, using them to cut Light's face. Only now does Light realize he's really in trouble and there's no way out of this. In his desperation, he runs as fast as he can, and the racist bastards laugh, saying they won't let him escape. Sasha shoots an arrow into his leg and Light falls to the ground and starts screaming. The racist elves say that hearing human screams is like music to their ears. Garu decides to make Light scream a little more and starts beating him, but Drago tells him to stop because they need to make it look like the human died in a monster ambush. Garu obeys the orders and prepares to finish him off, but Light crawls forward, desperately clinging to life. Suddenly, the ground beneath him starts glowing, and Light realizes he's in the middle of a teleportation circle. Drago notices too and orders Garu to finish him quickly, but before he can reach Light, the teleportation circle does its job and takes him away. However, the situation doesn't improve much for Light. Even being saved from the traitors, the teleportation trap takes him to a random location in the dungeon, and he knows that the moment a monster finds him, he'll be dead. He starts remembering his family while wondering what he did to deserve being betrayed. He thinks about how they all treated him well before deciding to stab him in the back. He now understands that their kind behavior was just an act so he would fully trust them, and they showed their true colors in the end. He becomes furious and channels his anger to have a reason to survive. He gets up, swearing that he'll get revenge on those bastards and tear them apart with his own hands. Well, before he can let out more curses, Light hears a low growl coming from behind him, and when he turns around, he finds a level 1000 monster staring at him. He's startled to see the monster because it's something out of a fairy tale. Light realizes he was teleported to the lowest floor of the dungeon, and that surviving his group would be easier than surviving this monster. While wondering how he can fight the monster, his thoughts drift to his unlimited gacha gift, and he decides to take a chance. He starts pressing the gacha button repeatedly, and then suddenly, his common gift transforms into something beyond his imagination. A giant magic circle appears above him, and the gacha device starts receiving a power-up. Light doesn't understand anything, but as soon as the monster jumps at him, the gacha draw is completed. A level 9099 maid appears and annihilates the monster in an instant. Everything ends before Light could blink, and then the maid starts walking towards him. She kneels before him and heals his wounds right away, saying she couldn't bear to see his soft, silky skin injured. Then she healed without asking permission. Light can't believe he's perfectly fine now, and then the maid asks his name. He introduces himself as Light, and the maid is very happy to know his name. She swears by the maid's code of honor, promising to serve him until death. Light says it's okay, but that she should at least say her name first. The girl introduces herself as May, the ever-searching maid, and tells Light she came from a super ultra rare card in his unlimited gacha. Well, Light refuses to believe that a level 9099 maid would come out of his useless gift, but May asks permission to use her evaluation skill on his gift to read the finer details. He grants it right away, and May uses her ability to discover that his abilities are hidden under a very strong concealment, and anyone below her level can't even see them. She tells Light that his unlimited gacha is much more useful than he thinks. The cards it draws depend heavily on the mana density of his location, and apparently there's another rarity class beyond May's super ultra rarity. May explains that the mana density on the surface is very low, but in the depths of the dungeon, the air is full of mana, which allowed her to be summoned. She praises Light's bravery in coming alone to the depths of the dungeon to unlock the full potential of his gift, and he tells her he's a loser who couldn't even get close to the dungeon on his own. He starts crying as he tells how his group betrayed him in the dungeon. He starts lamenting about how they promised they wanted to create a world free of discrimination just to deceive him, and then swears he'll get revenge on them. May suddenly hugs him, saying she can't understand what he went through, but she'll do whatever he wants, and destroying the bastards who hurt him won't be too difficult for her. However, Light says she can't do that, and it's not because he's a good guy, he just wants revenge with his own hands, but that's not possible now because he's too weak. He swears he'll make them all suffer before killing them, and Mei kneels before him again, saying that if he wants to get strong enough for revenge, she'll help him with that. She says she believes in his potential, and Light can only thank her. However, he's not satisfied with just one super powerful berry in his harem, and decides to use even more of the dungeon's mana-rich environment. He uses his unlimited gacha again, summoning more high-class maids so he can create a kingdom that will serve as a base for his great revenge. 3 years pass since that fateful day, and now Light rules hundreds of maids inside a palace he built for himself. Mei is always by his side, as she promised on the day they met. All the maids seem to be totally smitten with him, while they cheer him on, happy to be noticed by him. While Mei tells everyone to behave properly, he leaves the castle and heads toward the local market where everyone recognizes him, and one of the vendors calls him for coffee, while others talk about the snack shortage in the country. Light promises to solve the problem soon, while Mei tells him not to worry about such small tasks, as she'll ensure the logistics problem is resolved as quickly as possible. Light realizes he'll need to create a new system to handle logistics, since the local population has increased several times in the last 3 years. He asks Mei where the rest of his legendary summons are, and Mei responds that Yuki, the beast tamer, is busy creating maps of the area near the dungeons, patrolling the forests for problems. Light thinks about all the monsters wandering through the forests, but knows they wouldn't pose any problem for a genius beast tamer like her. Mei continues saying that Ellie, the mage, is working hard to create special magic according to his grand plan. Light wonders if Ellie can handle it, since there are so many complexities in the magic spells he asked her to create. Light asks about Ness, the vampire knight, who is excellent in close combat but a bit dumb in other areas. Mei responds that she gave her the job of patrolling the castle grounds, as this would prevent her from using her empty brain and getting into any kind of trouble. Light doesn't mind her though, since she makes things more interesting around the castle. Soon they return to the castle, where Light ends up being called by Jack, the last of his 4 legendary summons, who asks if Light is ready for training. Mei seems a bit irritated and tells Jack he should address Light with his appropriate pronoun, which is master, but Jack is a true Sigma who doesn't believe in this feminist nonsense, and so he completely ignores her. Light tells Mei it's okay, since he considers Jack an older brother, and tells Mei he thinks he'll go to the training session with Jack now. Inside the training field, the two prepare to fight when, with a burst of speed, Light runs toward his summon, punching him straight in his six-pack abs, and pushing him back with his surprising strength. Jack seems satisfied with Light's power, claiming that any normal adventurer would have died if they took a punch like that, but he holds up since he's built like a tank and can absorb an insane amount of damage. They meet in the middle of the field again, with their punches colliding before they back away. Light continues with a flurry of strikes that Jack dodges. Meanwhile, Ness is still patrolling the corridors, shaking her empty little head, when she's greeted by some of the other maids, who start flattering her, saying they all feel safe since Ness is always patrolling and ensuring there's no danger lurking. Ness is very happy that was what the maids wanted, and they decide to play a prank on them by suggesting she should go and make sure Light's quarters were safe and that nothing wrong was happening there. Ness thinks the idea is great and heads to the room, but when she tries to open it, Mei emerges from inside. Ness asks Mei what she was doing inside Light's room, since he should be at training at this hour. Mei immediately starts blushing, claiming she was trying to clean the room while he was away. Ness tells her she must check the room for any danger, but before Mei could scold her, Ness enters the room and notices the bed all messy. She says naively that it looks like someone was on the bed smelling the pillows and rolling around, and asks Mei if she did that on purpose. Mei decides to use her dumb brain to her advantage and confidently states that it's her special style of making the bed. Ness is impressed by this and asks if she can learn to do the same, but Mei refuses, claiming it's a special trade secret she can't reveal yet. With that, Ness remembers that the maids wanted her to deliver their message to Mei too. So she takes out a scroll and hands it to Mei, who realizes that the other maids are revolting against her for monopolizing Light's room and never letting them clean it for a change. Mei tells Ness not to worry about it, as she'll deal with the maids herself, and even gives Ness a tip to keep her mouth shut, which she happily accepts and leaves. She immediately heads to the market and starts looking at all the food she can buy with money, but finally decides to try the fluffy pancakes with some fresh milk. With that, she marches happily back to the castle, where she finds Yuki sitting on top of a balcony. She asks Yuki if her work in the forests is done, and Yuki, tired of Ness's nonsense, shows her that she's already created a map that Mei wanted and came back to deliver it. Ness congratulates her and returns to her patrol duty before entering the throne room. Once inside the tacky area, she starts screaming at the top of her lungs since there's no one around to stop her. After that, she jumps on the throne itself and starts messing with it when she accidentally breaks one of the wings of an angel statue. Afraid of May, she puts it back immediately any way she can and runs to save her life straight out of the throne room. Back at the training field, Light and Jack continue confronting each other when Jack suggests they call it a day and go to the baths. Soon they go to the bathroom, and once inside the giant bathtub, Jack praises Light for learning all the skills so quickly, claiming he's strong enough that most creatures in the dungeons are child's play for him, which means even few can challenge him on the surface, but warns him that there are still some who would like to destroy him completely at the first chance they get. Light gets serious thinking about the betrayal he suffered 3 years ago, claiming he'll only stop when he gets his revenge. Back at May's quarters, she calls the 4 problematic maids and asks what their problem is, while she reads their letter back to them. Once in front of May, the 4 maids fall silent, as they don't know what to say. They apologize, claiming it was just their way of showing support, since they know May is overwhelmed. May tells them not to worry about her work and focus on theirs. She denies their request to clean Light's room, and instead punishes them by giving the order to clean the corridor leading to the throne room by hand. The maids are surprised, claiming the corridor is very long, but May tells them to continue, as this will keep them busy while they have a mission with Light. Outside, Ness is stuck to a shop window, looking at the gauntlet she wants to buy but doesn't have money for. While there, she ends up bumping into Ellie, who asks what Ness is looking at, and Ness points to the gauntlet before asking Ellie why she came back so early, since she should be supervising the new construction that's happening. Ellie responds that the construction is going well, so she decided to take a break. Soon they end up arguing about who is closer to Light and who is more important, since Ellie tells Ness that she's directly involved in the revenge plan that Light is plotting. Unlike her, Ellie also states that she recently had a lovely evening where she shared a cup of tea with Light, where they discussed their progress, and states that next time they meet she'll schedule a private dinner. Ness states that she also wants to have tea with the master before telling Ellie that she's good at close combat, so if she needs help, she can look for her. Ellie smiles and tells her she'll definitely make use of that one day, and with that Ness returns to her duty without stupidity. Back at the castle, the 4 maids are busy plotting against May, claiming that May is no better than the little angry mustache man from Germany, asking if they should act behind her back and gossip to Light, but they think better of it, as none of them want to suffer her wrath. One of them realizes that Light cares so much about May because she was the first summoned, while the purple-haired one states that it took Light 2 months to finally summon Yuki, which means they were alone in the dungeons for 2 whole months. They get incredibly jealous and start rolling on the floor and doing strange jealous things before deciding to do voodoo magic while sitting at the table and chanting die so that May is taken out of the equation. Unfortunately for them, May ends up hearing all this and enters their room, cornering them once again. The maids immediately start apologizing, claiming they were just a little jealous and never meant anything they said. May tells them to stop fantasizing about strange things, since during the months between her being summoned and Yuki being summoned, Light was busy learning everything he could about magic and practicing all the martial arts he could try, so they never had time to do anything else. This relieves the maids somewhat, while May states she came back because she felt she had been too hard on the maids, but now she realizes she apparently wasn't, so she tells them to clean the throne room too. Since they have enough time to practice voodoo magic completely at May's mercy, the maids had no choice but to follow her orders while cleaning the entire throne room too. They decided to keep their mouths shut this time to avoid more trouble, but while dusting the throne, the green-haired idiot ends up dropping a piece of the angel wing that was broken by Ness. The piece falls to the floor, and the maids are horrified thinking it was their fault and wondering what May will do to them. The next morning, Light enters the dungeon only to find Ness, Ellie, and Yuki already waiting for him. Ellie says good morning, while Ness and Ellie already start arguing. Suddenly, however, a monster emerges from the shadows and Light freezes, as he realizes it's a hellhound. He knows he's much stronger than before, but the trauma from that day still haunts him and his blood runs cold every time he sees the beast. His group, however, isn't afraid, as they all become enraged by the fact that the hellhound made Light upset. Ness prepares to cut it into little pieces, while Ellie asks permission to eradicate the entire hellhound species from this world, and Yuki wonders if she could somehow find hell and push this monster directly into the deepest pits. Just their aura makes the monster cower, realizing how outmatched it is. Light, however, calms his group down while regaining his composure and slowly moves toward the monster, patting it. He knows that even if he gave the order as a joke, his legendary summons would really eradicate the entire race from the world. He then turns to them claiming they need to go to the surface, as they're going to start their revenge plan today.